Hazel cat, rescue cat who knows where it's at. Use a chair for her bed, pair of cymbals by her head. Look out, here comes the Hazel cat.
The IMDb summary for this episode says, basically, this is Neptune's nose cone with the action taking place in the North Pole this time. That would be Season 2, Episode 13, where Jonah sent Peter, Parker, and his pilot Penny, I never realized how that went together until just now, to Antarctica to recover a space capsule that malfunctioned. Their plane crashed in a lost world where a volcano keeps things warm, and the people who live there wanted to sacrifice the capsule to the volcano. As an added bonus for the volcano, they captured Penny and tried to throw her in too. Spiderman saved her, the capsule took off on its own, and the peasants rejoiced. When I started to watch this episode, I was going to say that was overstated. Here's why.
And there it is now, Rabbit Ear Meteor, the space traveler that has everybody guessing. You decide. Is it terrestrial? Is it celestial? Man-made on Earth or merely made from a hunk of inanimate meteor? Or perhaps made in space by creatures other than man? It certainly has the earmarks.
Rabbit Ear Meteor. With all those other questions, is anybody asking why the meteor is cooking and the rabbit ears aren't?
Bah! Now there's a story I'd sure like to cover. But how do you cover it? Get close-up pictures. Any ideas?
If we only knew where that meteor was coming down, we could put a photographer smack on the spot and...
Boy, would that be a scoop!
Okay, that's footage from the Season 2 episode, which is why the mouths don't match the words in a few places. Jonah gets a call telling him the meteor came down right on the North Pole, completely obliterating Santa's workshop. Peter is going up there to find it and get the drop on everybody else. Now watch this.
Parker, you're gonna find that meteor before any...
Did you catch the cut? The first time we saw those frames, he said find that nose cone, but that doesn't match the word meteor.
Parker, you're gonna find that meteor before any...
Apparently just shutting his mouth does match the word meteor. From here, we descend into the same foreground cells as before, overlaid onto a different background. I was mistaken. That IMDb summary is spot on.
Olsen's standing by now to go north with you. You're gonna bring back that rock. Or at least get me a good set of pictures.
Yes, sir.
Oh, and Parker, if there are any little green men inside, you can bring them back too.
Not to worry, pretty much everybody in this series except Peter and Jonah is green already. Fair warning, from here I'm going to be saying the word same a lot.
Wow. First time I saw a thunder snowstorm. How close are we to the pole?
Pretty near. We're icing up. Controls freezing. Got to radio a fix.
Same footage, same pilot. Apparently, Penny's last name is Olsen.
Hello. Hello, this is Osa Olsen piloting the Daily Bugle Snowskin.
My mistake. That's Penny's twin sister, Olga. She puts out a mayday call and the engine conks out.
Osa, this place is completely uncharted. Take your pick anywhere.
Same map. And you heard him call her Osa. Don't ask me why. I wasn't there when he did it. Being the word nerd that I am, I wonder if it's a contraction of her name and somehow Olga Olsen comes out Osa. But that's just a hypothesis, or hippopotamus or something like that. The plane goes down.
Osa, are you okay? Osa! Guess she's outside. Footprints!
Same bent propeller with some color adjustment. Same Peter waking up to find his companion gone. Same footprint discovery, except there are no footprints that we can see. This episode is a curious admixture of old and new. In the old, we zoomed in on the footprints. In the new, we zoomed in on the side of the plane. I feel like I'm doing one of those puzzles where you slide the tiles around to arrange them into a picture.
Old Rabbit Ear, the missing meteor.
Same crowd, different load, but it's easy to see that the meteor has been overlaid onto the original space capsule. The heavy strokes outlining it are to cover the places where it didn't quite make it. And we cut away from it after about 6 frames, so it's only obvious to people like me who are watching for it.
Great God of warmth, giver of fire and life, your brother God, the air, has dropped out of the goodness of his breath this gift. May it please you, Almighty Furno. We offer you the great heavenly egg, which you may hatch into the heat to warm the hearth of our cavern.
Same green shaman speaking English to a volcano with his figure superimposed over the rock instead of the nose cone.
So that's it. The snowmen live in underground caves warmed by their geyser god.
Geysers shoot water. That's a volcano. In fact, it's the same volcano you saw at the South Pole. Today, he and Osa will both call it a geyser. All we can do is try not to let it get to us.
Now, we're going to throw the meteor down the geyser like fuel to a furnace. Oh no, the meteor will plug the pipe, the pressure will build, and pow! The whole pole will go up. Melting ice cap could flood the world.
Wait a second. What did he just say?
One geyser isn't going to do that. I'm surprised that...
Ahem.
What took you so long?
Where to start? First, as you so cogently noted, this is a volcano, not a geyser.
Yes, I lived right outside Yellowstone Park for 10 years. I've seen a few geysers. Now I live in the shadow of Mount Rainier, a dormant, we hope, volcano. Different size, different shape, different material when it spews.
Well said. Then there is the matter of melting the pole and flooding the planet. The only volcano that is known to have that potential is the Yellowstone supervolcano, and obviously it is not at the North Pole. In point of actual fact, there is no land at all at the North Pole. It is all simply ice.
So it's an ice volcano, or geyser. Spiderman says these people live in caves that are warmed by this sneezing mountain, or whatever you call it.
Must I say it?
Probably not.
Thank you.
Peter said this was all uncharted territory, but submarines had been going under the pole and charting the waters since 1958. You don't expect the average 10-year-old viewer to know that, but by that age I did know that there's no land at the North Pole. That's why the meteor destroyed Santa's place. There's nothing under it but ice.
Wow!
Same flying worm. He'll deal with it the same way, lasso it with his web and ride it for a while. It's all repeat footage with a cold background instead of a warm one.
These tendrils, just like iron.
Same plant, same problem. Last time he said they're like bars. This time he said they're like iron. That's the nice thing about Spider-Man. You can't see his mouth, so he could be saying anything. Caught in a lettuce trap and me without my ranch dressing. He gets out the same way by breaking off a piece of a thorn bush and stabbing this thing. Same footage.
Spiderman!
Osa!
How did you?
When you send out a mayday, you never know who'll turn up.
Spiderman, I made a test on that meteor or whatever it is. It's highly radioactive. The snowmen are going to drop it down the geyser. You know what that means?
This is one big difference. Osa isn't captured. In Neptune's nose cone, Penny was captured and blindfolded the whole time, so she didn't even know Spider-Man had been there. He and Osa will team up to stop the snowmen, gotta love that title, from throwing the meteor in.
How do I get out of this one?
The same way as before, shoot a web and climb up it. The big difference is, last time he explained that the door was too slippery for him to crawl up. This time we get to sit and scratch our heads wondering. We also never actually get to see that the opening in the door is shaped like the flying worm. I think we're trying to keep viewers from realizing they're watching a gussied up rerun. Same giant statues, same fires in the eye sockets.
Uh-oh, I don't like the looks of this place. Better move on.
Same weird tendrils that never actually do anything and leave you wondering why they're there. By this time he's in a cave, so they didn't even have to change the backgrounds. That's the same mystery monster. It'll chase him up the same big statue as the flames go out in the statue's eyes. There's really nothing I can say about it that I didn't say a season and a half ago.
Daylight. I can take care of old Helmet Hump and get myself out of here all at once. If I'm lucky.
The dialogue is slightly different than before, but again, you can get away with that with Spider-Man. Just like before, he tips the statue over, it bops the monster on the head, and Spider-Man escapes.
The geyser! I almost forgot. I've still got the North Pole to save.
You saw the bird, right? In the Season 2 episode, a white dove flew by to illustrate how warm it was there. Doves don't live at the North Pole. The nearest thing is a type of seagull, and they don't look like doves. How lazy was this? We didn't even bother to remove the bird that doesn't belong there. We have lost any respect we ever might have had for our audience.
Look! The Devil Man! Come out, Ice Cavern, to haunt us again! This fiery stone must be his home! Throw it to our great god of warmth! Let his heat consume it and give us warmth!
I repeat, how lazy was this? That's the space capsule with Penny tied up on top of it. What the what, Ralph? Why don't you just go around to every kid who's watching and smack them across the face, dude? This is making me angry. I don't only reward winning or getting it right or whatever. I reward effort. If they've given it their all and come up a little short, they made the best effort they could, and I'll applaud that. When I'm at karaoke, I'll applaud anybody who has the guts to get up there and make the effort. As I write this, it's 2 days after that incredible Super Bowl, and I applaud the San Francisco 49ers just as much as the Kansas City Chiefs. Both teams brought it all and battled it out to the very end, and to the very end, there were no foregone conclusions about the outcome. That was what a championship game is supposed to look like, and both teams deserve an entire nation's applause for what they brought. There is no effort here. Nobody cares, not even enough to overlay the rock onto the capsule again. This is such subpar work, I like to think they didn't get paid for it. The meteor is over the hole on some logs. When the heat from below burns the logs, the stone will drop. Like before, he'll try to attach some webs to the meteor to keep it from falling into the hole. At least this time, Osa is there to help. That's not how that works. As many times as that web was wrapped around that rock, she would have had to go before it dragged her down the hill. I made the mistake of picturing that.
Holy rocket rocks!
You may recall that the space capsule did the same thing, except that time Spider-Man and company had the good sense to let go. Let's see what this thing is, as if we don't know.
great disguised spaceships. Better bail out before we go into orbit.
I doubt that thing is going into orbit. I think it's had enough of Earth and it's going home. Osa and Spider-Man both think that's a good idea. Peter shows up just in time to catch a ride, and Spider-Man will find his own way home. And the plane is working again. No explanation, it just is. Don't ask questions. Peter laments the fact that he didn't get any pictures of the spaceship, and a boring conversation takes us to the end. At least in the other version, Peter brought a flying worm egg to Jonah, and when it hatched, it bit JJ on the nose, so we had something interesting. Today, just about everything we have that didn't come from the previous episode is nothing but filler. And that monumental laziness is why I've decided to end the series right here, because the final episode is a clip show. Spider-Man is recounting his exploits to a young runaway boy who wants to be a superhero. In the end, the boy changes his mind and goes home. Everything else is recycled. I see no reason to waste one of my entire episodes on it. Long live Season 1. Seasons 2 and 3 should have been a continuation of that, but a change at the helm led to this. As I've said before, I don't know why someone thought Ralph Bakshi was a good fit for this series, and I firmly believe he didn't want it. We may never know who pulled what strings to shove it into his lap, but he proved he didn't want it by giving it the least attention and care that he possibly could. Yet again, there's a reason why we all remember our favorite episodes from the first season and not a blasted thing from the other two: quality. The 1966 cartoons that we're looking at right now on Fridays were intended to be cheap and a little silly. This was advertised as serious stuff, a genuine high-budget cartoon based on our favorite superhero. And it was for a while. The series is available on DVD on Amazon, though whether it's a legitimate release or a bootleg, I'm not sure. Whatever it is, on Amazon it's over $100 and somebody is out of their gourd. I got it from this place and I make no apologies. When I can't get a series anywhere else, that's where I go, and it's where I had to go to get this one. I recommend you do the same thing. If each season were out on its own DVD package, I'd say pay the price and buy the first one. But they aren't. So find it the best you can, free up the disk space occupied by seasons 2 and 3, then sit back and enjoy season 1. It really is worth watching again and again. Focus on that one and don't let the others leave a bad taste in your mouth. Do what I'm going to do now that I'm done with them. Pretend they never happened. I'll be taking a break for a bit and then we'll be back with more of our wall-crawling wonder in one of his live-action shows. Thank you for watching, and Hazel and I will see you then. Yes, I lived out. Peter said this was half a season, and okay, come on, read it. Big statue was the split is different, but why do you do this to yourself? It hatched and the thing bit JJ on the nose, so we had something interesting. You know, I don't blame you. I am screwing this all up. Pierce my ears and call me drafty. I got through it.